My name is George. I'm 63 years old, and 3 days ago, I thought I knew my son. Felix told me he was in Berlin, building a future, chasing dreams. For 3 years, I believed every word, every excuse about bad connections, every apology for missed calls. I was proud of him, my boy, making it overseas while his old man sat here alone, drinking coffee from a mug that says, "World's Best Dad." Then last Friday, a delivery driver named Ethan handed me this. No return address, just my son's handwriting I'd recognize anywhere. Inside this box was something that destroyed everything I thought I knew. A USB drive, a burner phone, and a note that started with 2 words. I'm sorry. What I found on that drive, it wasn't just a lie. It was a betrayal, a conspiracy, a life my son had been living in the shadows while I sat here, 2 hours away, believing he was on another continent. But here's what they didn't know. The people who hurt my son, who used him, who thought they could break him and walk away clean. They didn't know about me. This is the story of how a 63-year-old forklift driver became the last person you'd ever want to cross. How I infiltrated their world. How I helped my son take back everything they stole. And how we made them pay. You think you know where this is going. You don't. What Felix did, what George is about to do, it's going to blow your mind. But I'm not telling you everything right here. You want the full story? You want to see how an ordinary father becomes an extraordinary force of revenge? Then smash that subscribe button right now. Hit the bell so you don't miss a single chapter. Drop a like if you're already hooked. And comment below. Would you fight for your child no matter what they'd done? This story is just beginning. And trust me, you do not want to miss what comes next. Subscribe now. I'm not a complicated man. Never have been. I wake up at 6, make my coffee the same way I have for 40 years. 2 sugars, a splash of milk, and I read the newspaper even though most of it's online now. My name is George Whitman, and for the last 3 years, I've been living in a kind of fog. The kind that settles in when your only child moves away and you're left with nothing but memories and monthly phone calls that feel more like obligations than conversations. Felix left for Europe when he was 28. At least, that's what he told me. "Dad, I got an offer I can't refuse," he'd said, pacing my living room like he always did when he was excited. Contract work with tech startups in Berlin. Maybe Prague after that. It's the opportunity of a lifetime. I was proud. Scared, but proud. I'd raised him alone since his mother walked out when he was 7. Just disappeared one Tuesday morning with a note that said she needed to find herself. I worked double shifts at the Harrison industrial plant, loading and unloading freight so Felix could go to college, so he could have options I never had. When he told me he was leaving the country, part of me broke. But the bigger part? That part swelled with pride. My boy was going places. The first year wasn't so bad. We video called every week. He'd show me his apartment. Though looking back now, I realize I only ever saw one corner of one room. White walls, no windows in frame. "It's small, Dad, but it's mine," he'd say. I believed him. Why wouldn't I? By year 2, the calls got shorter. "Time difference, Dad. It's hard to sync up." He'd message instead, quick texts, always upbeat. "Crushing it over here. Miss you. Love you." And every month, like clockwork, money would appear in my account. Not a fortune, $800, sometimes $1,000. "Just helping out, old man," he'd text when I protested. "You did enough for me." I never asked where it came from. I should have. God, I should have. Year 3 was when the distance became unbearable. The calls stopped almost entirely. Maybe once a month if I was lucky, and even then, his camera was always broken, or the connection too poor for video. Just his voice, strained and tired, insisting everything was fine. "Work's crazy right now, Dad. I'll visit soon, I promise." My neighbor Beatrice started asking questions I couldn't answer. "When's the last time you saw Felix in person, George?" she'd say while we both picked up our mail. Beatrice is 74, sharp as a tack, and has a habit of noticing things I'd rather ignore. "He's busy, Bea," I'd say. "Important work." She'd give me this look, pity mixed with suspicion. Last month, she cornered me at the grocery store. "George, I need to tell you something and you're going to think I'm crazy." She glanced around like she was about to confess to a crime. I saw someone who looked exactly like Felix. Same height, same walk, same everything. He was 2 towns over, at that diner off Route 9. My chest tightened. "Beatrice, Felix is in Europe." "I know what you said. But George, I'm telling you, it looked just like him." I laughed it off. Beatrice watches too much Dateline. But that night, I couldn't sleep. I pulled up our last video call on my phone, the one from 6 weeks ago. I watched it 3 times. His face looked thin, tired. The wall behind him, generic, sterile. No sounds of a city, no accent creeping into his voice. Just Felix, my Felix, looking at me through a screen and lying. I didn't want to believe it, so I didn't. I went back to my routine. Coffee, newspaper, pretending. Until last Friday. I was sitting in my recliner, half watching a game show I didn't care about, when the doorbell rang. I wasn't expecting anything. I opened the door to find a young guy, mid-20s, wearing a delivery uniform. His name tag said, Ethan. "Package for George Whitman," he said, handing me a medium-sized box. His smile was polite, professional. Nothing unusual. "Thanks," I muttered, signing the electronic pad. He nodded and walked away. I closed the door and looked down at the box. No return address. But the handwriting on the shipping label, my breath caught. Looping letters, cramped F. I'd seen that handwriting on birthday cards, school projects, grocery lists stuck to the fridge. It was Felix's. My hands started shaking. I set the box on the kitchen table and just stared at it. Why would Felix send me a package instead of calling? Why no return address? My phone was right there. I could call him, demand answers. But I didn't. Something in my gut told me to wait, to open it first. I grabbed a knife from the drawer, my hands unsteady, and sliced through the packing tape. The cardboard flaps opened. Inside, nestled in bubble wrap, were 3 things: a USB drive, a cheap burner phone, and a folded piece of paper. I unfolded the note. Felix's handwriting again. "Dad, I'm sorry. Watch this alone. Don't call me. Don't trust anyone. I'll explain everything soon. F." My heart was pounding so hard I thought it might burst. I looked at the USB drive. Small, black, ordinary. But it felt like a bomb in my palm. I don't know how long I stood there. Could have been minutes. Could have been an hour. Finally, I picked up the box, the USB drive, the burner phone, and the note, and I carried them down to the basement. I locked the door behind me, drew the blinds, pulled out my old laptop, the one Felix set up for me years ago and made me promise to never throw away. It took forever to boot up. My hands were trembling as I plugged in the USB drive. One folder appeared on the screen. One video file. watch_me_dad.mp4. I hovered the mouse over it, my finger on the trackpad. Every instinct told me that once I clicked play, everything would change, that the son I thought I knew, the one building a life in Berlin, would disappear. I clicked anyway. The video loads. For a second, there's just black screen and the hum of the laptop fan. Then Felix's face appears. But this isn't the Felix from our video calls. This Felix looks like he's been hollowed out from the inside. His eyes are sunken, ringed with dark circles. He hasn't shaved in days, maybe weeks. He's sitting in what looks like a cheap motel room, the kind with peeling wallpaper and a single lamp casting harsh shadows across his face. He's wearing a jacket I recognize immediately, the brown leather one I bought him for his 21st birthday. He said he'd wear it forever. I didn't think he still had it. He stares into the camera for a long moment, like he's trying to gather courage. Then he speaks. Dad. His voice cracks on the word. If you're watching this, it means I couldn't tell you in person, and I'm so sorry for that. He takes a shaky breath. I'm not in Europe. I never was. The room tilts. I grip the edge of the desk to steady myself. I've been 2 hours away from you, Dad, in a town called Millbrook, for the last 3 years. I feel like I've been punched in the chest. Millbrook? I've driven through Millbrook. It's nothing. A tiny place off the highway with a gas station and a diner. He's been there. 2 hours away while I sat in this house believing he was on another continent? Felix rubs his face with both hands. When he looks back at the camera, his eyes are wet. I got involved with someone. Her name is Clara. He says the name like it tastes bitter. She was... God, Dad, she was perfect, or I thought she was. Smart, funny, ambitious. She had this energy, you know? Like she could take on the world. We met at a tech conference 3 years ago. She told me she was starting a consulting firm, helping small businesses with digital marketing, growth strategies, that kind of thing. She asked if I wanted to partner with her. He pauses, swallows hard. I said yes. I thought it was my shot, Dad, my chance to build something real. So I invested. Everything I had saved. $20,000. Then she said we needed more capital to scale, so I borrowed money. From friends. From people who trusted me. My stomach twists. It all seemed legitimate at first. We had clients, we had revenue, but then Clara introduced me to her business partner, a guy named Delilah. Yeah, I know, weird name for a guy, but that's what he went by. Said it was a family name. Felix's jaw tightens. Delilah was smooth, charismatic. He convinced me we could make even more money if we expanded into investment consulting. He had connections, he said. Wealthy clients looking for opportunities. All we needed to do was move some money through certain accounts, create some paperwork, and we'd all get rich. He looks down, ashamed. I didn't ask enough questions, Dad. I wanted to believe it was real. I wanted to prove I could succeed without your help. So I did what they asked. I signed documents. I created accounts under my name. I transferred funds. His voice drops to almost a whisper. By the time I realized it was a scam, it was too late. Clara and Delilah had used me as the fall guy. They set up everything under my credentials, my name, my social security number, my email. They defrauded investors, Dad. Real people. Retirees who lost their savings. Small business owners who trusted us. I'm gripping the desk so hard my knuckles are white. I wanted to run. I wanted to come home. But Clara... She said if I left, if I went to the police, she'd make sure all the evidence pointed to me. She had emails I'd sent, documents I'd signed. She said I'd go to prison for 20 years. And the worst part? She was right. I am guilty. Maybe not of planning it, but of being stupid enough to let it happen. He wipes his eyes roughly. So I disappeared. I changed my name, started working under the table, dishwashing, construction, whatever I could find that paid cash. I've been hiding, Dad, living in motels, sending you money because I needed you to think I was okay. I needed someone to believe I wasn't a complete failure. My vision blurs. I don't realize I'm crying until a tear hits the keyboard. Felix leans closer to the camera. His voice gets urgent. But I found something, Dad. Clara made a mistake. She's meticulous, but she's also paranoid. She kept records of everything, spreadsheets tracking every transaction, emails with Delilah, bank statements showing where the money really went. I think she kept them as insurance, in case Delilah ever turned on her. I managed to get copies. It's all on the USB drive I sent you. He holds up a flash drive identical to the one in my hand. This is proof, Dad. Proof that Clara and Delilah orchestrated the whole thing. Proof that I was their patsy. But here's the problem. I can't use it. If I go to the police, I'm still implicated. My name is all over those documents. I'd be arrested before they even looked at the evidence against Clara. He stops, takes a breath, looks directly into the camera, directly at me. I need help. I need someone they don't know about, someone they'd never suspect, someone who— His voice breaks. Someone who still believes in me, even though I don't deserve it. Tears are streaming down his face now. Dad, I understand if you can't, if you hate me, if you never want to see me again. I wouldn't blame you, but I needed you to know the truth. I needed you to know that I didn't mean for any of this to happen. I was stupid and desperate, and I ruined everything. He reaches toward the camera like he's trying to touch me through the screen. I love you, Dad. I'm sorry I lied. I'm sorry I let you down. And if you decide to walk away, I'll understand. The video ends abruptly. I sit in the silence of the basement, staring at the black screen. My mind is racing. Felix, my son, 2 hours away, hiding, scared, alone, and he thinks I'd walk away. I pick up the burner phone with shaking hands. There's one contact saved. F. I open a new message. My fingers hover over the keys. Then I type 4 words. I'm in. Tell me how. I hit send. 3 dots appear almost immediately. Then, thank you. I'll send instructions. We take them down together. I stare at the message. My 63-year-old self, the guy who drives a forklift and watches game shows, is about to help his son take down criminals. It's insane. But Felix is my son, and nobody hurts my son and gets away with it. I don't care if I'm scared. I don't care if I don't know what I'm doing. They're about to learn what it means to underestimate an old man who has nothing left to lose. I never thought I'd become a spy at 63. But here I am, sitting in a Starbucks at 7 in the morning, pretending to read the sports section while watching a woman I've never met destroy lives with a smile. Felix's instructions came through the burner phone in stages. First, he sent me Clara's photo, a professional headshot that could have been pulled from LinkedIn. She's younger than I expected, maybe 32, with sharp features and eyes that look intelligent. Trustworthy, even. I can see why Felix fell for her. Then came her address, her routine, the coffee shop she visits every morning at 7:15 a.m. Don't approach her, Felix warned via text. Just watch, learn her patterns. I need to know if anything's changed, if she suspects anything. So here I sit, a senior citizen in a worn flannel shirt, looking like someone's grandfather killing time before a doctor's appointment. Nobody notices me. That's the point. Clara arrives at 7:17 a.m., 2 minutes late, probably from traffic. She's wearing a cream-colored blazer and carries a leather bag that probably costs more than my monthly mortgage. She orders something complicated. I hear her say, oat milk and extra shot, and tips the barista $5. Generous, calculated, everything about her seems rehearsed. She sits at a corner table, pulls out a sleek laptop, and starts typing. Her fingers fly across the keyboard with the confidence of someone who's never doubted herself. I watch her for 45 minutes. She takes 3 phone calls, all business, laughs easily, makes notes in a small leather journal. She looks nothing like a criminal. That's what makes her dangerous. I'm on my 3rd cup of terrible coffee when my phone buzzes. Felix. How's it going? I type back with one finger, the way old people are supposed to. She's here, nothing unusual. Good, come back tomorrow, same time. I need a full week of patterns. This becomes my life. Every morning, I drive to Millbrook, park 3 blocks away, and watch Clara perform her routine. Day 3, I notice she always sits in the same spot, back to the wall, clear view of the entrance. Smart. Paranoid, maybe. Day 4, I see why. A man joins her. Tall, maybe mid-40s, with slicked-back dark hair and a suit that screams money. He slides into the chair across from her like he owns the place. Kisses her cheek. Not romantic, territorial. They lean close, talking in voices too low for me to hear. My phone is already out. I snap a photo, trying to look like I'm just scrolling through Facebook. The picture's blurry, but Felix will know who it is. I send it. His response comes 30 seconds later. That's Ethan, Clara's boyfriend. He's the real mastermind. She's just the face they show investors. Ethan, the delivery driver. I zoom in on the photo, my hands shaking. Same build, same angular face. He wore a uniform and a fake smile when he handed me that package, looked me right in the eye like he was just doing his job. He knew. He knew exactly what was in that box. The rage that floods through me is white-hot and sharp. This man, this smug, polished criminal, delivered evidence of his own crimes to my doorstep like it was a pizza order. Did he think it was funny? Did he and Clara laugh about it later? I watch them for another 20 minutes. They're comfortable together, relaxed. At one point, Ethan shows Clara something on his phone and they both smile. They look like any other couple planning brunch or a weekend trip. They look normal. That night, Felix calls me on the burner. His voice is steadier than it was in the video, like having me involved has given him something to hold on to. Dad, I need to tell you the plan. I'm listening. Clara and Ethan are hosting an investor meeting next week. Wednesday, 6 p.m., at the Grandview Hotel. They're pitching a new opportunity to wealthy retirees. People like you. They target older folks who don't understand tech, who have savings they want to grow. My jaw tightens. And? We're going to infiltrate it. You're going to pose as a potential investor. I almost laugh. Felix, I can barely work email. How am I supposed to? That's exactly why it'll work, Dad. You're perfect. They'll underestimate you. They'll see a confused old man with money and they won't look deeper. While you're in that meeting, keeping them distracted, I'll be outside in the parking lot hacking into their server through the hotel's Wi-Fi. You can do that. I've been learning, Dad. 3 years of nothing but time and anger. I can do it, but I need 15 minutes of clean access. Can you give me that? I think about Felix at 19, handing me that coffee mug with both hands. I think about him hiding in motel rooms, scared and alone, while these people smiled and schemed. Yeah, I say, I can do that. Over the next 4 days, Felix transforms me into George Whitman, retired mechanical engineer, widower, $400,000 in liquid assets looking for investment opportunities. He sends me a fake identity packet, driver's license, bank statements, references, all professionally forged by someone he knows from his time underground. Who made these? I ask during one of our nightly calls. Better you don't know. Let's just say the people who help fraud victims aren't all lawyers and cops. We practice for hours. Felix drills me on what to say, how to act. Be a little confused, ask basic questions, make them feel smart. They love that. If they think they're educating you, they'll let their guard down. I buy a cheap suit from Men's Warehouse. Practice my lines in the bathroom mirror. So, this blockchain thing, it's like a chain made of blocks, I say to my reflection, trying to sound genuinely puzzled. I feel ridiculous. I feel terrified. I feel alive for the first time in 3 years. The night before the meeting, I can't sleep. I lie in bed staring at the ceiling, running through every possible disaster. What if they recognize something's off? What if Felix gets caught? What if I freeze up and blow everything? At 2 a.m., my phone buzzes. Felix, you okay? Can't sleep. Me neither. Dad, thank you for believing me, for not giving up on me. I stare at the message, my throat tight. I type, "You're my son. I'll always fight for you." 3 dots appear, disappear, appear again. Then, "I love you, Dad." "Love you too, kid. Now get some sleep. Tomorrow we take them down." I set the phone on the nightstand and close my eyes. This time, sleep comes. Tomorrow, George Whitman walks into the lion's den, and he's not walking out until he draws blood. The Grandview Hotel smells like expensive carpet cleaner and desperation. I walk through the lobby in my cheap Men's Warehouse suit, carrying a leather folder Felix ordered from Amazon, the kind that's supposed to make you look successful but screams trying too hard to anyone paying attention. Perfect. The conference room is on the second floor, room 2B. As I approach, I can hear voices inside, friendly chatter, the sound of people hoping to get rich. I stop outside the door, take a breath, and feel the burner phone buzz in my pocket. Felix. I'm in position. Parking lot, northwest corner. You've got this. I text back, here goes nothing. Here goes everything. Make them remember you. I push open the door. The room is set up like a seminar. Rows of chairs facing a projection screen. A table in front with bottled water and mints. There are maybe 8 other people already seated, all around my age or older. They're dressed nicely, looking hopeful, looking vulnerable. My chest tightens. These are the targets. People like me. Mr. Whitman. The voice is warm, professional, feminine. I turn and there she is. Clara, even more polished in person than through a coffee shop window. She extends her hand, her smile bright enough to sell ice to Eskimos. So glad you could make it. I shake her hand, making mine a little weak, a little unsure. Wouldn't miss it. My late wife, Delilah, she always said I needed to be smarter with money. I deliberately use the name of her business partner. Watch for a reaction. Nothing. Not even a flicker. Either she's that good, or the name means nothing to her personally. Well, you're in the right place, she says, guiding me toward a seat in the front row. We're going to show you some incredible opportunities tonight. I sit down, fumbling with my folder. Drop a pen. Apologize too much picking it up. Play the part. At exactly 6 p.m., Ethan walks to the front of the room. He's wearing a navy suit that probably costs more than my car, and his smile is practiced, confident, predatory. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. My name is Ethan Cross, and this is my partner, Clara Dennison. We're here to talk about the future of wealth management. For the next 20 minutes, Ethan delivers a presentation that sounds impressive if you don't know what the words mean. Blockchain, AI-driven portfolios, cryptocurrency arbitrage. It's all nonsense dressed up in graphs and buzzwords, but I watch the other attendees nodding along, leaning forward, wanting to believe. Clara chimes in at perfect moments, softening Ethan's corporate speak with personal anecdotes. I know this might sound complicated, she says with a self-deprecating laugh, but trust me, once you see the returns, you'll understand why we're so excited. My phone buzzes silently in my pocket. I glance down under the table. Felix. I'm in their network. Need 8 more minutes. Keep them talking. 8 minutes. I can do 8 minutes. I raise my hand. Ethan pauses mid-sentence, his smile tightening just slightly. Yes, Mr. Whitman, George Whitman. I stand up slowly, like my knees hurt. Sorry, son, but I'm a little confused. What's a blockchain again? Is it like a chain made of blocks? A few people chuckle. Ethan's smile relaxes. He thinks I'm harmless. Great question, George. Let me break it down in simpler terms. He talks for 3 minutes. I nod along, pretending to understand, then raise my hand again. And the cryptocurrency part, is that like Bitcoin? Because my neighbor's grandson lost a bunch of money on that. Ethan's jaw tightens for just a second before the smile returns. Bitcoin is one type of cryptocurrency, but what we're offering is much more stable. Another 3 minutes. The other investors are starting to look annoyed with me. Perfect. Clara stands, sensing Ethan's frustration. George, I completely understand your concerns. That's why we offer complete transparency. Every investment is tracked, every transaction documented. You'll have 24/7 access to your portfolio. I scratch my head. But I don't really use computers much. What if I can't log in? We have a dedicated support team. And what about taxes? Do I have to report this? Because my accountant, Beatrice, she's very particular. My phone buzzes. Felix. Got it, everything. Downloading now. Get out in 2 minutes. But I can't just leave. That would look suspicious. I need a reason. A big one. You know what? I say, my voice suddenly louder, more decisive. I like what I'm hearing. I want to invest. Right now. The full amount. The room goes silent. Clara's eyes widen slightly. George, that's wonderful, but we typically require a consultation period. No. I wave my hand. I'm 73 years old. I don't have time for consultations. I want in today, but I pause, reaching into my folder. I need to see the contract first, the real one. All the fine print. My wife always said, read everything before you sign. Ethan and Clara exchange a glance. It's quick, but I catch it. Uncertainty, calculation. Mr. Whitman, Ethan says carefully, we don't carry physical contracts to these meetings. Our legal team, I need to see it now, I insist, my voice taking on a stubborn edge. Old people can be stubborn. They expect that. I've got my reading glasses right here. Just show me what I'm signing. Clara opens her mouth to respond, but my phone starts ringing. Loudly. The ringtone is obnoxious. Some default sound Felix programmed in. I fumble for it, apologizing. Oh gosh, I'm so sorry, I thought I turned this off. I answer it. Hello? Beatrice? I pause, listening to nothing. What? The house? What do you mean, smoke? My face goes pale. Is it? Oh God, I have to go. I'm so sorry. I'm already moving toward the door, my folder forgotten on the chair. Mr. Whitman, wait! Clara starts after me, but I'm faster than she expects. I'll call you, I shout over my shoulder. Emergency! I'm so sorry. I burst out of the conference room and speed walk toward the stairs. My heart is pounding. Behind me, I hear Ethan's voice. Should we go after him? Clara's response is cold. Let him go. If his house is burning down, he's got bigger problems than investing. I take the stairs 2 at a time, something I haven't done in years, and push through the exit into the parking lot. The cold evening air hits my face. I'm sweating, shaking, but I made it. Northwest corner. I see Felix's beat-up Honda. I climb in, and there he is, my son, in person, for the first time in 3 years. He looks exactly like he did in the video, thin, exhausted, haunted. But when he sees me, his face breaks into something between a laugh and a sob. Dad! Later, I gasp, still catching my breath. Did you get it? He holds up an external hard drive, his hands trembling. Everything. 12 shell companies, fake investor testimonials, bank transfers to offshore accounts, names, dates, amounts. It's all here, Dad. Every piece of evidence we need. I stare at the hard drive. This small piece of plastic and metal contains the proof that will destroy Clara and Ethan. That will save Felix. Then let's finish this, I say. Felix looks at me with eyes full of tears and something I haven't seen in years. Hope. Yeah, he whispers. Let's finish this. They've got the evidence. But having proof and using it, 2 different things. Next is where George and Felix take the gloves off. The revenge, the exposure, the moment Clara and Ethan's perfect little world comes crashing down. And, trust me, there's a twist coming that you will not see coming. Subscribe now if you haven't already. Hit that like button. Comment below. What should George and Felix do with that evidence? Because what they actually do, it's perfect. Don't miss it. We're back in my basement. The same room where I watched Felix's confession. But this time, he's here, sitting across from me, the hard drive between us like a loaded gun. We could go to the police, I say, though I already know his answer. Felix shakes his head. Dad, I've thought about this every day for 3 years. If we go to the cops, it becomes a legal battle that could take years. Clara and Ethan have lawyers, good ones. They'll drag it out, poke holes in the evidence, claim I was a willing participant. By the time it's over, they might get a slap on the wrist while the victims never see a dime. So, what's the alternative? He plugs the hard drive into my laptop. Folders open, dozens of them. Spreadsheets with names I don't recognize. Bank statements showing transfers of millions. We ruin them completely, publicly, so thoroughly that they'll never scam anyone again. I lean closer to the screen. How? Felix's fingers fly across the keyboard. I've spent 3 years working odd tech jobs, Dad. I've met people, hackers, investigative journalists, activists, people who hate scammers as much as I do. He pulls up a list of contacts. These are reporters at 3 major outlets: The Times, The Journal, and a financial watchdog blog that broke the last big Ponzi scheme. You're going to leak it. Not just leak, detonate. His eyes are fierce now. We send the evidence to all 3 outlets simultaneously. They'll verify it independently, which makes it credible. Then we send personalized emails to every single victim. There are over 300, with copies of the evidence and instructions on how to file complaints with the SEC and FBI. I sit back. That's not enough for you, is it? Felix smiles, but there's no warmth in it. No, we also flood social media. Every platform. Clara's Instagram, Ethan's LinkedIn, every digital footprint they have. We expose who they really are, their real names, their past scams, everything. And then he pauses. We anonymously tip the IRS and SEC with detailed evidence of tax fraud and securities violations. Jesus, Felix. They won't just lose money, Dad. They'll lose their reputations, their freedom, their futures, everything they took from me, from those victims. We take it back. For 3 days, my basement becomes a war room. Felix barely sleeps. I watch him work, coding, writing, verifying details. He's meticulous, brilliant. This is who my son was supposed to become before Clara and Ethan twisted him into something else. On the 3rd night, at 11:47 p.m., Felix hovers his finger over the keyboard. Once I hit this button, there's no taking it back. I put my hand on his shoulder. Then make sure you're ready. He looks up at me. I'm ready. He presses Enter. The first article drops at 6 a.m. the next morning. Tech entrepreneurs accused of operating massive investment fraud. Exclusive documents reveal sophisticated scheme. By 8 a.m., it's everywhere. The second outlet publishes their version. The third follows an hour later. My phone, my regular phone, starts buzzing with news alerts. I watch it spread like wildfire. Clara's Instagram goes from perfectly curated business photos to a flood of comments. Scammer. You stole my retirement. I hope you rot in prison. Her account goes private within 2 hours, then deletes entirely. Ethan's LinkedIn disappears. The Grandview Hotel releases a statement. We were unaware of the fraudulent nature of events held in our facilities and are cooperating fully with authorities. By noon, Felix gets a text from an unknown number. He shows it to me. You're dead. Both of you. My blood runs cold. Felix? It's Ethan, he says calmly. Let him threaten. He's panicking. At 3 p.m., there's a knock on my door. Felix tenses. Don't answer it. But I look through the peephole and my heart stops. It's Clara. She looks destroyed. No makeup. Hair pulled back. Eyes red and swollen. She's alone. Felix, I call down to the basement. You need to see this. He comes up the stairs, sees her through the peephole, and his face goes hard. What does she want? Only one way to find out. I open the door. Clara looks between us. Me, the old man from the investor meeting, and Felix, the partner she betrayed. Please, she whispers, I need to talk to him. Felix's jaw clenches. You've got 60 seconds. We let her into the living room. She sits on the edge of my couch like she might bolt at any moment. Her hands are shaking. I didn't want this, she starts. I know how that sounds. I know you have no reason to believe me. But Ethan, he's not who I thought he was. He manipulated me too." Felix laughs bitterly. "You expect me to believe that?" "No." Tears streamed down her face. "But it's true. When we started, I really did think we were building something legitimate. By the time I realized what Ethan was doing, I was in too deep. He had evidence against me, threatened me, said if I tried to leave, he'd make it look like I masterminded everything. So you stayed and helped him destroy people. I'm not asking for forgiveness, Felix. I know I don't deserve it. But Ethan, he's planning to run. Today. He's got money stashed in cryptocurrency wallets that weren't in those files. He's meeting someone at 2 p.m. tomorrow to get fake documents. If you want real justice, you need to stop him before he disappears." Felix stands abruptly. "This is a trap." Clara pulls a piece of paper from her pocket. An address. A time. "Warehouse on Polk Street. 2 p.m. He told me this morning. He doesn't know I'm here." She looks at Felix with desperate eyes. "I'm turning myself in to the FBI tomorrow morning. I'm done running, but I needed you to know about Ethan first." She stands, moves toward the door, then stops. "Felix, I'm sorry for all of it. You deserved better." She leaves. Felix and I stand in silence. Finally, I speak. "Do you believe her?" "I don't know." He looks at the address. "But if there's even a chance to catch Ethan before he runs, then we go," I finish. We're parked outside the warehouse on Polk Street at 1:30 p.m. Felix has his laptop, a camera with a zoom lens, and the burner phone recording everything. I have nothing but my fists and a steel pipe I found in my trunk. "If this goes sideways," Felix says, "we run. Agreed?" "Agreed." But I'm not running. Not anymore. At 1:55 p.m., a black Mercedes pulls up. Ethan steps out carrying a metal briefcase. He looks around nervously, the smooth confidence from the investor meeting completely gone. A white van arrives seconds later. A man in his 50s gets out, stocky, expressionless. "That's the forger," Felix whispers, zooming in with the camera. "If we get footage of this exchange, it's proof of intent to flee." They shake hands, start talking. Felix is recording everything. Then I hear it. Sirens. Multiple vehicles approaching fast. "Dad!" 3 unmarked cars screech into the lot. Doors fly open. Federal agents and FBI windbreakers pour out. Ethan tries to run. Doesn't make it 10 feet before he's tackled, face first into the concrete. The forger raises his hands, surrendering immediately. Felix and I sit frozen in the car. What the hell? Then I see her, Clara, stepping out of one of the vehicles with a federal agent. She's wearing a wire. She's not in handcuffs. She looks directly at our car, nods once. "She set him up," Felix breathes. "She really did turn herself in." We watch as Ethan is cuffed, screaming about his lawyers, his rights. The agents find the briefcase. Inside, stacks of cash and fake passports. They have him cold. Clara speaks with one of the agents, pointing at documents, cooperating. She made a deal, testified against him. And now Ethan's going down alone. Felix's phone buzzes. A text from an unknown number. "He's yours now. I'm sorry it took me so long to do the right thing." C. 3 weeks later, Ethan is denied bail. Charged with wire fraud, money laundering, identity theft, conspiracy. The prosecutors say he's looking at 20 years minimum. Clara pleads guilty to lesser charges in exchange for her testimony. She'll serve 3 years, but has already started helping victims recover funds. Felix and I are sitting in my kitchen, the same kitchen where I opened that package a month ago. He's holding the world's best dad mug, turning it over in his hands. "I testified to the FBI yesterday," he says quietly. "Gave them everything. They said I won't be charged. They're classifying me as a victim who was coerced." Relief floods through me. It's really over. It's really over. He looks at me with tears streaming down his face. "Dad, I thought I'd lost you. I thought you'd hate me. I reach across the table and take his hand. Felix, I've loved you since the day you were born. That doesn't stop because you made mistakes. It doesn't stop because you were hurt. It stops never. He breaks. Sobs. I come around the table and hold him while he cries. My son, my boy, finally home. Over the next months, things slowly rebuild. Felix starts working with a nonprofit that helps fraud victims navigate recovery. He uses his tech skills for good now, tracking down stolen assets, exposing scammers. We have dinner every Sunday. Sometimes Beatrice joins us. She never stops reminding me she was right about seeing Felix at that diner. One afternoon, a letter arrives. Prison postage, Clara's handwriting. Felix, I know I have no right to ask for your forgiveness. I'm not asking for it. But I wanted you to know I think about what I did every day. I'm taking college courses here, trying to become someone who deserves a second chance. I hope you find peace. See, Felix reads it twice. Doesn't respond, but he doesn't throw it away either. Maybe someday. 6 months after everything ended, I'm standing in my kitchen making coffee when the doorbell rings. A delivery. Different driver this time, a young woman named Delilah, cheerful and kind. Package for George Whitman, she says. I freeze for just a second. Then I see the return address. It's from Felix. He moved into his own apartment last month, a fresh start. I open it carefully. Inside is a new coffee mug. White ceramic with black lettering. World's Best Dad, the sequel. And a note. Thanks for never giving up on me. Some sons get one chance. I got 2. I won't waste it. Love you, old man. F. I set the new mug next to the old one on my counter. 2 generations. 2 chances. 1 unbreakable truth. Love doesn't quit. Even when the world falls apart. Even when lies pile up like snowdrifts. Even when your son disappears for 3 years and comes back broken. Love stays. I pick up my phone and text Felix. Dinner Sunday. I'm making pot roast. His response comes immediately. Wouldn't miss it for the world. I smile, pour my coffee into the new mug, and for the first time in 3 years, I take a sip without a single shadow in my heart. My son is home. The truth won. And sometimes, just sometimes, that's enough. And that's the end of George and Felix's story. From betrayal to revenge to redemption, they fought back and won. But here's the thing. This story only exists because you watched it. Because you cared. Because you wanted to see justice served. If this story moved you, if you felt every moment of George's pain and Felix's redemption, then do this. Subscribe to this channel right now. Smash that like button. Share this with someone who needs to hear a story about never giving up on the people you love. And comment below. What would you have done differently? Would you have fought for your child the way George did? I read every comment. This community is built on stories like this. Real, raw, human stories. And there are more coming. Don't miss them. Subscribe now. Hit that notification bell. Join this family. See you in the next story. And remember, love doesn't quit. Ever.